Good morning. Happy Monday. Thanks for joining me this morning, you guys. Sevan, as you know, is probably on his way home from LA as we speak, or getting close to. So we're running the show today. And I'm going to stay in my lane. We're going to... Heidi, good morning. Sevy's too hungover for this, dude. Probably. No. So he's not going to be rescheduled. I was in command of the ship yesterday and this morning. So, but Sevan will be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. I do believe we're going to have Tyson Bajent join us as well, too. So we could chat about all that and everything else. Jay, good morning. Good morning, Caroline. Cave Dastro, good morning. Judy, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the DeCoons thing. I have the live call in, and as always, like, will it work or will it not work? The text message. So I've got. Did you guys watch the show? Yesterday's show when I asked Katie Henniger, and I was like, "Hey, Katie, we're not going to keep you for long." We were texting back and forth, and obviously she's had a long weekend. She was trying to find a warm spot, and had been out in the rain all day dealing with everything at the event. And then I opened with was Roman allowed to bring his translator out on the field? And I'll have to tell you guys too, the perspective from being co-hosting and chilling and letting Sevan just run the show, the amount of confidence I get from that, I'm I leave the show, I'm like, man, I'm feeling good, I could really do this. And the second he's gone and it's just you're the only one standing up there staring at yourself in the screen, you're like, oh, this is much harder being the one driving the show rather than just sitting passenger. But yeah, that was hilarious. I think that one will probably trump the Sarah Sigmundsdottir running away from me. I am striking out every time as I step up and try something new there. Oh man. Anyhow, Sevan was texting me about that. I just thought it was pretty funny. In the group chat that we have with everybody else too, they were already giving me shit for it, whatever. You do act a little different, but you're doing good, Sousa. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Sevan's the one driving it, so it's it's easy to sit passenger side and build your confidence up. Will always coming to help me out a little bit here. What you did was not even close to as bad as Jong Yun versus Katie. Well, I was messing around and with the group that we had on and stuff, and I was telling them, I'm like, yeah, at some point every time Katie comes in, she's just slapping people around. Everybody got it in the chat at least once, right? Where she called somebody out on whatever they did, and all of a sudden you see their face turn red and they start to shrinking down super small. And that's exactly how I felt. The perspective that I had when she did that to Taylor and she did that to John Young, sitting there watching. I'm like, yeah, give it to him, Katie. That's hilarious. And then when it happened to me, not so much when the shoe's on the other foot. Can I get one of you guys, please, to call in, and we'll start chatting a little bit about HQ and DeCoons and some perspective on that. Okay, so it is connected now. If one of you guys, put up the call number, dummy, that would probably help. If one of you guys could call in and just test it real quick, that would be awesome. Yes, hot chocolate with marshmallows. I'm the kind of guy that drinks hot chocolate with marshmallows when it's cold. No, it's coffee. Baker Street, of course. The only thing we know. Oh, fantastic. Somebody's calling already. This is great. Give me 1 second, caller. Let me see if I could. Oh no, now more people are calling. Hold on. And accept. Change this. Oh my goodness. There's so many people calling now. Okay, hold on. Hello, caller. Oh, my Lanta.
Testing.
It is working. Wait, can you speak again for me, please? Hello?
Souza, you just hang up on me?
No, I didn't. I don't know what's happening
Did you just hang up on me? Do you know who you're talking to, Souza?
No, but that accent gets me going. I'll
How
tell you
you
that.
doing, pal?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I figured I'd call you and make sure this thing's working.
Oh, I love it. So thank you so much. Sorry if I did hang up on you. There was a bunch of people that like all called at one time. So thank you so much for testing that out. But I was trying to manage it there. So how are you doing this morning?
Beautiful, man. Just relaxing, you know?
Hey.
Listening to you over here. Got a day off.
Oh,
taking it easy.
Nice.
Couple things. Let me throw a couple things out there.
Please.
Vindicate. Amazing apparel. Good stuff. The t-shirts. Top of the line. Beautiful.
Great.
Paper Street Coffee. What a guy, huh?
Gabe. He's the man, bro. Travis and
This
Gabe.
guy picks up the phone. He calls me and lets me know, hey, I got you covered. This thing's a little late, but I'm going to send this stuff out to you. He's trying to offer me extra stuff and everything. I'm like, listen, you already give me a discount. Don't worry about it. He's telling me everything. I'm going to send you some stuff. I'm going to do this, do that. What a guy. One-on-one conversation on the phone. Good stuff.
Yeah, good dude. All of them take care of us, and they take care of everybody inside of our community here. It's amazing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good stuff, Souza.
Awesome.
Crush it, man.
Thank you.
Take
Appreciate
it easy.
it.
Have a great day, huh?
Thank you for testing it. You too.
See you.
Bye. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you guys I get a lot of questions and in the DMs about different stuff for affiliates, or like, hey, I'm a new coach, or I'm thinking about opening up a gym, or what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And so I put it on Instagram, and I was hoping that a few people that had asked that would call in, because I think a lot of the questions that are asked actually are continuous almost. Like somebody will ask like, hey, I belong to my gym. I coached there for a really long time, and I'm having this conflict with the owners. Like there's some conflict going on. And so it's always good just to kind of like call in and get these out in front of a bunch of people, because I feel like if one person has a question, there's probably a bunch more that have the same question or something similar to, or if you just want to call and give your perspective. Okay. So we're going to get into the DeCoons hire. The DeCoons hire. I'm going to bring up, y'all know I'm fancy because I got LinkedIn, huh? You didn't know about that. So this gentleman here is now vice president at CrossFit. I think it's like head of affiliates. The titles are kind of weird, right? It seems like the titles are always shifting a little bit. And I don't necessarily mean that in like a terrible way as they try to like figure out organization, but it is a little weird. It's like vice president, or is he head of affiliates, or what? Jeff, you're here. I thought you weren't coming till Sevan was back. It's an awful presentation. Here we go. Got another caller here. Caller, good morning. You're live on the show.
What's happening?
What's going on? Who is this? Is this the one and only Blade here?
You feel me?
Yeah.
Gotta get this call in early because I got the morning cracking with the girls. But I've been meaning to say this for a minute.
Yep.
Is that the common denominator? Now, I haven't ran an affiliate, but I worked as a coach in one for a while and worked in a few. One that doesn't run anymore because it lacked this, and then another one that's still kicking because it thrived in this. And it's like you gotta love people, or learn to love people and interacting with them, because that goes for almost anything. Like even with what I do, people ask me advice, and I go, if you watch Bad Boys 2 and that's what inspired you, that ain't it. You need to love people and learn to love people, because 98% of almost anything you do, that's going to be the nucleus of it and the most of it. Mm-hmm. And then after that, everything else grows from there. And so that would be from a former CrossFit coach who's been in multiple cultures.
Yep.
That'd be something that I see in the thriving gyms, is the environment and loving the people, as we always say, the community. And then the ones that kind of look at it as more of numbers and strategy and all that, like you could just enter a data point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks cool, but that in itself isn't really sustainable. You know what I mean? So I think that's what kind of roused, at least with me, when with the new hire and talking about how he's gonna do, and if he could. I give everybody a chance. You know
Yep.
what I mean, I've
Yep.
got people with full blown swastika tattoos on their face shake my hand. So I'll give anybody a chance.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're open.
So anybody could get a chance.
Yep.
But I could see the scare part, because it may seem a little robotic at first, but who knows, maybe his cheeks won't be so tight, he'll loosen up a little bit and can make this thing happen.
Hey, let me ask you a question with your perspective, you know, as a law enforcement officer. How important is communication in your job?
Tell you what, it's a difference between somebody, a lot of times it's a difference between somebody damn near handcuffing themselves and sitting in the back of your car versus you having to tase or possibly getting a lethal force encounter.
Yeah. So
Because,
it's fucking
you know,
big, right? It's a difference of it being a
Yeah,
nice and easy situation or escalating to who knows where.
Yeah, or even if it's not somebody from the quote unquote other team, just within your own team, all y'all being on the same page. Because then somebody thinks that somebody's doing something, somebody else thinks that, oh, he was going to do it. And then before you know it, there's 3 assignments that didn't get done, but then 1 assignment got done 4 times.
And what do you think about
yeah,
the communication piece of it right at the get-go, right? So if let's say you're conducting a stop, right? And pull me over and I'm like, you know, hey, what the fuck you stopped me for, man? This is a waste of my time. You guys are out here sitting on this street corner here, and this is a trap.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right there. It's a flow chart, you know what I mean? It's a big ass flow chart.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You just imagine it like you're in one of those interactive games. Right there, you have to decide, okay, am I going to respond with this negative energy with more of it, or am I just going to kind of diffuse it? You know, am I going to fight? Okay, fight fire with fire. Now we just got a big ass fire. Sometimes you don't want to be the fire.
Yeah, that's right. And so the reason why I kind of front loaded that question a little bit, because I think that's the biggest missing link with what CrossFit HQ is doing right now. Like they got pulled over by the community, so to speak, and bear with me on this analogy, in the way that DeCoons was presented to the community, in my opinion, was the equivalent of the guy, why the fuck you pull me over? You're just sitting here at this corner anyways. This is a trap, right? Like it could have been handled differently from the start in terms of communication to the affiliates, in terms of communication to the CrossFit community, and in terms of communication internally within the office place. Now, obviously, we don't know the internal on the office place because I don't have access to that. But judging by how it rolled out for every other piece, I'm guessing it probably wasn't the best first introduction.
Right, and now we're dealing with okay, now what? And so the cool part is we can take a few nasal breaths, just take 3. That's what I tell my daughters to do whenever shit's hitting the fan. Stop time, take 3 big, slow nasal breaths, and now what? Okay, we cried, repeated, we got piss in our Cheerios.
Yep.
Now what we're gonna do? We're gonna go cry in the car. We're gonna make shit happen. We are on the same fucking team.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
That because you know who wants us to take an L? Fucking F-45 in Orange State. You know
That's right.
They sitting behind a tree rubbing their hands together right now.
That's 100%.
So we're gonna let them win, or we're on the same team for a moment. Who's more right doesn't matter. Let's find what we agree on and build from there. You know, just to realize, okay, we're on the same squad, and we may not have the same methods to get to the goal we want to, but we do have the same goal, hopefully.
Yeah, great advice. Hey, dude, we need to get you scheduled back on the show. I'm gonna reach back out, and I know Sevan's got a bunch of content here. He probably wants you to thumb through with him in the future. So
he love sending them certain videos my way. I look forward to it, but y'all been on fire, so it'll happen when it happens. And I'll be ready.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for the call, Vlad. Appreciate it. We'll be seeing you soon.
All right. All love, man.
Yes, sir. Bye. Yeah, that's a great point about the communication piece. I hope that analogy kind of made sense. Sleeky had a good thing. Sleeky, why'd they wait so long to announce his hire? He was brought on the week before the HQ summit in Boulder. Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about, because when there's little things like that, it starts to break down trust, and how many things like that could occur before people just are like, okay, this is just total bullshit, right? And we could start with the very first one, which is Rosa himself. You know, you remember he had the fucking black and white photo. It was all cinematic. He was going to come in as a savior. And I don't have the quote on me right now, but I'm pretty sure he said something to the effect of like, hey, I bought this thing. I'm going to be in this position for the next 50 years if life allows. And I'm going to ride off into the sunset. We're going to build CrossFit into this thing that is just going to, take over the world. And everybody was rallied up behind it. Everybody, I think at this point was just looking for some sort of stability, most importantly within CrossFit, because of the attacks on Greg, the community kind of eating each other, and cannibalizing ourselves versus, the I'm out crowd versus the I'm not. And so we all bought it. And then as time went on, it started to seem a little fishy, like, is this dude really in charge? Like, is Rosa the right guy for this? And then all the bullshit came out like, oh, the board put him as like chairman and they've escalated his, position. And it was just more bullshit, because then at that point, you knew once he had fired Dave that it didn't settle well with the community at large. And then they had to bring him back in, and Rosa had to pretend that he wasn't like fired, but yet moved to this position. And now where is he at? What happens? We don't know. He's gone. And so more and more time as that bullshit is being fed, it's harder and harder to believe him. Will Brand Center. Also, if they waited so long to announce it, how did he not have his L1 done so they could announce it without having him to say and getting his L1 in a month? Fucking exactly, dude. And here's the reason why. They don't value it in terms of the position they hired him for. I'm open to being wrong, but I don't think that the board thought it was as important as it actually was to the community, that the guy that's freaking in charge of the affiliates, you like that little Hiller thing, the guy that's freaking in charge of the affiliates, needed to have his L1. They're probably, and this is again why I was making the speculation that he was not hired by DeCoons, was not hired by Don Fall. I think that in the little bit of time that Don has been around, assuming he's starting to understand the nuances of how this community works a little bit. And if that were the case, I think he would have agreed that he probably should have got the L1 prior to announcing anything. It should just be prerequisite, right? Like, you can't own an affiliate unless you have an L1, but you could be in charge of all the affiliates if you don't have an L1. Like, y'all played yourselves, bro. Not good. Not good. Dude doesn't need the L1 for what? Here's the thing, Jeff. In terms of the position that he's in, you're probably right. You're probably right. But in terms of the knowledge that he needs to have about what it is that he's growing and the leads that he's bringing in the understanding what the methodology is, he 100% needs it, dude. He 100% needs it. And I know he's not, I know he's not coaching squats. I know he's not walking into affiliates and like checking out people's mechanics and stuff like that. I get that. But you have to understand that if he hasn't at least read the playbook, the manual, the L1, then does he even know at that point what he's protecting or what he's selling or what he's growing? That's the question I have for you, right? So sure, you could make the statement like, dude, he's not in their coaching classes. Well, he fucking should be, in my opinion. And if you see some of these businesses like, I don't want to use like any of the franchises, but it's hard to come up with one on the spot without a franchise. But like, so take Chick-fil-A, for instance, right? If you are going to own a Chick-fil-A franchise and you start at every position in the business that you own, your knowledge and perspective of what everybody else is doing is going to be tenfold than if you just came in from the top position and said, well, I don't have to understand what the cooks go through. Well, I don't have to understand what the cashier goes through. Well, I don't have to understand what the drive-through person goes through. Yes, you do. Because if you're going to manage that business and you're going to make sure that things are running smoothly, you need to have perspective on those jobs. Otherwise, like, how would you truly understand it in each level? Let's see here. But how do you guys feel about it in general? Do you think so? Another caller. Caller, hello, welcome. You're live on the show.
Hey man, let me put it this way. Jeff's kind of right. Does he need the L1? No. But the video that came out at his South by Southwest conference explaining that CrossFit is dangerous. He doesn't understand how people can just open an affiliate without the proper training. Now, if CrossFit, see, they dropped the ball there. They let that get out, hired the guy, didn't have anything ready. The backlash came out. They had to put something out. So Jay's now saying, I have been training. I understand that it's not that way. They should have had like a little segment of him at his gym doing CrossFit and understanding that. The ball was dropped. Unfortunately, it's too little too late for the people who understand that we needed to see that. They put that statement out because of the backlash, not because of that's what CrossFit wanted to do. You know what I'm talking about?
So you're basically saying they were reactive. They weren't proactive on it at all.
Oh, for sure, because I find it hard to believe that they hired this guy with that video out. We're not idiots. People who coach and who are affiliate owners, they know right away, because that's what we get all the time as coaches and affiliate owners is CrossFit's dangerous. We're the ones that convince people that it's not dangerous, talking about runners, how they have more injuries. Other sports have more injuries, catastrophic.
Pickleball.
Pickleball, yep. The rates of increase of hospital visits to pickleball are crazy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, CrossFit could have done a much better job at that, and they didn't. And we kind of were seeing through like the little story that they're trying to push that he understands now. I don't buy it. I'll give him a chance, just like Chase said, and you know, Taylor kind of agreed. Yeah, I'll give him a chance, but they got to be real careful of how they present it.
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective. So basically, you're just saying, hey, dude, everybody was just super reactive to what happened because he got hired. And like Sleeky said, why didn't they announce it earlier when they were at the summit? That could have been a great opportunity to. And they probably knew that it wasn't going to settle well, and then information potentially was going to leak. So then they decided, hey, let's get out in front of it. I wouldn't be surprised based off the video, and interested to hear your perspective on this, if they fucking called him right then and was like, dude, hey, shit, it's getting out. You need to make a statement right now. Just go out in your backyard and do it.
How cringy is that video?
Dude, it's... And you know what? It's not. And again, I want to make a clear distinction here that I don't want this to be beating up on Jade, the person, because I don't think that that's fair. None of us actually know him as a person. If we saw him at the grocery store and I was holding the door open for him as he came in and he said, hey, thanks, man. And I was like, hey, no problem. Probably fucking get along with the guy. I don't know why I used the holding the door open reference. That's where I went. But you know what I mean? And since he was presented in this way, he should almost be a little bit upset with HQ's kind of plan to roll this out, because they kind of fucked him from the start.
I remember watching Hiller's videos from the beginning. They were like backdoor, like Gonzo video. He's progressed so much to the point of like, it looks professional. Jay went in his backyard holding the phone in front of him, moving around. Hey, I'm Jay. You know, I'm going to be this. Why couldn't they go to his affiliate, if he's at an affiliate, have him in like a CrossFit t-shirt in the background of whatever affiliate he's at with the rig, be like, hey guys, I'm Jay. I'm coming from CrossFit X. I'm here. I'm going to be your XYZ. And I'm going to prove to you that this is what we're doing. This is the methodology. I'm so entrenched in it, and I've changed my decision of how I felt about it before. But they couldn't do that. He's in his backyard. Come on, guys.
Fuck, you nailed it, dude. I think that would have changed everything as far as first perspectives. That's nuts.
This isn't CrossFit of 2007, of 2007. This is CrossFit 2023. They're a major corporation. They're a global brand. Come on.
Yeah. Sloppy. Well, thanks for calling in, brother. I really appreciate that perspective.
Yeah, man. Great job this weekend. Everybody on the team. Great coverage. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, bro. Bye.
All right, man. Later.
Bye. I saw another call come in. Call back. Whoever just called. I had it saved in my phone. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good perspective there. Like what Jethro just said. I think if it's all... I mean, a lot of the times, right, in life, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not the message, but the messenger, right? Like, fuck, that shit matters so much, especially with this community here. Hello, you're live on the show, caller. What's up, brother?
Hey, so that's Joe Niels, CrossFit Coach. How's it going?
Joe Niels, what's up, my guy? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. So I'm gonna try to lean into this at least for the here and now. So my time working back in the corporate world for a company that was owned by a venture capitalist company,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of times where we would lose someone internally who was like a director or a VP, and the VC would consistently fill that position with someone from an Ivy League school with MBAs, and this like stacked resume because they think that they're going to do all this amazing stuff. So I'm going to lean into the fact that I don't really think this was an HQ hire. I think it's the VC doing the things that they strongly think is what's best for the company, less than an HQ thing. So I think HQ, I hope, is just playing the hand as best they can that's being dealt with them.
So basically you're kind of agreeing that like this wasn't a Dawn Fall thing. This wasn't anybody of the normal characters we're seeing. This was just 100% the board over at Berkshire Partners getting together, finding the guy that looked good on paper and saying, this is our dude.
That's what I've seen in my previous life in the corporate world. And it felt the same way. Like we would have people internally that were very vested in the company and trying to do a good job, that understood the nuances of the business and the vendors really well and the customers really well and the nuances of whatever seasonal changes. And they'd bring in someone that would be this Ivy League grad, and they come in with all these hot phrases and catchphrases, like RCI, and let's have a Kaizen event, let's do all this 5S, and all that stuff is great when you have very process related problems. But CrossFit's such a nuanced thing, right, as we know, and the people that need to be in place are the people that are leading with passion, because CrossFit's just not another company, right? Like, I'll give the example of, Hiller, who is an unpaid, person from CrossFit, right? Like he has no actual employment through CrossFit. But when something happens in the space and it's 9:35 at night, Hiller's going to drop everything and make content because he's passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's brought in from the outside is going to look at this role like it's any other job. And so when you see something drop at 9:35 at night, most people that work normal jobs have normal relationships to that job. They're going to be like, oh, we should talk about this tomorrow morning. That was pretty interesting. Not drop everything. And how can we, make action on this already? Because for us, like us, right, we live, eat, sleep, and breathe this. Right. We don't look at it like I'm stopping what I'm doing to, start working. It's just how we do things. And that's what really, I think, is the hard thing to manage from anyone that's coming to the outside in. It's almost impossible for them to treat this like another job. And it can't be.
Yes, I agree completely, because all the shit at the Ivy League school, the Harvard MBA, like like you said, the nuances of this, what CrossFit is in the community, in the affiliates, in the games, like there's so much nuance there. And a guy with from an Ivy League school with all the right stuff on paper isn't necessarily going to understand any of that. And by the time they do, they won't be effective in that position, right? It's going to take so fucking long to figure that out.
100%. It's like, how many times as an affiliate owner do you get a call or an email from whatever ClassPass or whoever it is? It's like, hey, if you could have 30 members in the next 2 weeks or blah, 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 like, would you like that? Like, no, I wouldn't, because they're not good leads. I can't manage this. Yes, more money and more members is great, but there is no way the retention is going to be there. And so it's, again, like you have these ideas that come from the outside, like, well, why wouldn't you want, 30 new members in 30 days? Well, it's like, well, if you're jamming them down my throat and they're not good leads and they have no idea the nuances of CrossFit, they're going to walk into a class from whatever they're used to doing and being like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm out. I paid for ClassPass. I'm going to go do something else.
Dude, you nailed it across the board. I mean, you nailed it with the reason why DeCoons was hired and was looked at for that position, which I completely agree with. That's what I've kind of been saying as well too. And then you nailed it with the leads thing. When you look at it like it's an F45 or an Orange Theory, you also have to remember that those businesses do workout A on Monday, workout B on Tuesday, workout C on Wednesday, and it's a rinse and repeat. And the reason why they do that is so that way they could just have people in there that aren't necessarily coaching to a really high level, but just kind of moving the class through the logistics of the system that's put in place by the franchise.
Yeah, right. What they do is just so turnkey. It doesn't matter if the person has efficacy in any side of fitness or understanding. It's just 3, 2, 1, go. And here you go. This is station A, station B, station C. Carry on.
100%. Hey, kind of somewhat off topic, but on the same topic. How's everything going, dude? How's it been approaching people in the wild?
Dude, it's been so good. Like I think in the 30 days we've captured, I think in total, I think it's 111 leads.
Wow.
We had 8 current paid signups. We probably have another 5 to, I would say 9 that are like in the pipeline. We're just messaging back and forth, trying to get them in and starting. We had 4 members join just by normal means. So there's a chance that we could have netted 20 new members in the 30 days alone.
Holy shit.
So from like an ROI standpoint, it's been absolutely insane. When I went into it, I'd be like, man, I would love 5. I would love knowing that on my own, I could drive 5 new members in my gym.
Yeah.
And that would be enough for me to be like, hey, this is something I'm going to adopt every single day going forward.
Right.
And again, it wasn't like I was carving out extra time to do it. It was just, hey, I'm going to go to Meijer to get sweet potatoes today. Like, hey, I'm going to hit this and try and find someone to talk to them, right? I normally don't go to Walmart, but that was for more
content,
of
baby. The
shock
content.
factor.
Yeah. Dude.
Right. No, it's been so good. Big picture for my affiliate alone. And that was honestly how it started. I just wanted to do something for my affiliate.
Yeah.
Just prove to me that I could challenge myself. And then, Jess really stepped up and said, I also kind of said, man, I wish I could do this bigger, but there's just not a way for me to like do it all. And so Jess stepped up to the plate and was like, hey, I think, you could offer some value, doing the YouTube stuff. I'll step up and edit. And it's been so cool. Like I was at Rogue this weekend, and the amount of people I met that would just bump into me like, are you the Kenosha guy? And I was like, yeah, man. Like how inspired they were, whether they were an owner or a coach or a member, because either of the 3 were trying to drive this whole thing forward for their gym. And so that's the thing that I'm most excited about, and really what I wanted to see happen is that we could inspire more people to just do what I'm doing, and more CrossFit coaches to do what I'm doing, and owners to do what I'm doing, that we can really drive the ship forward, because we can't always rely on HQ to do every decision that's going to align with what we want. And we're the ultimate decision makers and protectors of our business to have those leads. So it's been so cool to see people excited. The hardest part is that I don't think we've reached enough people, right? I don't know the YouTube algorithm well enough, and we can only get so much exposure. And I've had meetings with HQ, and they're working on ways to try to amplify it. I know that they featured us in the affiliate email that was last week. It was on the same email that DeCoons got announced. So I think that was kind of, you didn't scroll much further after that.
No, they fucking buried you, dude. They buried you under the tragedy. They're like, hey, we got some big news. Yeah, slide Joe into here. No one's going to scroll past this anyways. Dude, hey, so I gotta ask, I want to compare some numbers with you, because I did some stuff on the back end through like Facebook advertisement or different things like that in the past. But I will tell you right now, just kind of listening to the numbers that you had, like the 111 leads, I wrote down like 5 to 9 in the pipeline, hoping to, at the end of the 30, net close to 20 members. I mean, that blows the Facebook advertisement out of the fucking water. And on top of that, they're already building the connection with you and establishing the trust, because I'm assuming they're going to come in and see you in the gym, or if you're not the one teaching them immediately, you're going to be there to kind of greet them, right? So like they kind of have this continuity from like, hey, there's a guy I talked to that, maybe help me take that extra step to get in here. And now that I'm in the gym, there he is again, helping me out. So, but real quick before I let you go ahead.
Yeah, no. And what's nice too is like, I'm the one having the conversation, and as an owner or coach or a CrossFit in general, like it does not take long to think that CrossFit's a fit for that person, right? We know it's for anyone, but it's not for everyone. And it's that mindset of how they communicate. And so it is one of those things that we can kind of vet the conversation as we're going, of like, hey, this actually is some sticking power here. I think this person actually could have some buy-in in how the conversation goes. And so when you're talking to people, you're also in control of the leads that you're generating. So like I said, with the whole ClassPass stuff, it's like, it's going to be whoever walks in my door and whatever their predisposition of what they're going to do. I already have a good idea of who they are, what they're like, and what's going to drive them to stay. So like I'm already like qualifying that lead as best I can. That okay,
Yep.
when Jeff walks through the door, you know, he's kind of swung this way in how I should motivate him, whether it's gonna be a little bit more of like high level coaching, or this dude just needs a cheerleader, and I just want to get him excited about moving.
Yeah. Hey, is there any spot, like out of all the places that you've been to, number one, that you would recommend people go because it kind of had the engaged or qualified lead there? And number two, is there a spot that you would recommend people just absolutely avoid because it was a dud?
Yeah, so we're gonna try to make the next wave of content, like kind of like funneling people to do have more success. In that, for us, there was a Mission Barbecue chain by us, and I think it's because they're more of a military, like they support military and police and fire departments. I think it just already has a clientele for whatever reason that's really well positioned for like community centric stuff. So I think finding any business that does have those good, that ties that lean, that like military way, really successful. For us, I would definitely discourage Walmart.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, probably Walmart's going to be last on that list.
Interesting, right? If you're really trying to save the absolute lost, yeah, you can go there. If you have a dog, a dog park was really good for us. Just like the comfortable, casual conversations, because dog people are going to naturally trust dog people, and it just seemed really easy to have organic conversations. But no, so that'll be kind of the next wave of content. We might lean a little bit more of like doing YouTube shorts and just start like banging out some good content on like really easy, tangible stuff. And then kind of my process of like, you know, how I kind of qualify leads and how I funnel them to hopefully a yes and a sign up. But even bigger than that, we're going to put out a video that is going to offer basically to 3 affiliates is the goal, where they're going to kind of, I don't know, pitch, apply. I'm going to fly out. I'm going to spend 3 days with the affiliate, give them the full on crash course of just going to places and talking. And then hopefully they take the next 27 and crush it on their own. And then they kind of push the 3 affiliates and really try to like get this just really, really rolling. Because it's been unbelievable for my affiliate. And I just want other owners to really see that it is super doable. And the momentum, not only from them, but like my members have been so excited seeing me do this and lead from the front. They're like, hey, dude, I was at like X, Y, and Z, and like I gave it a shot. Like
that's awesome.
I tried pitching a little bit more. Yeah.
Dude, good shit. Hey, when you do that, let's stay in touch, because I would love to have you come out here in the Bay Area, and like I'd love to do something with you. Maybe we could leverage the channel and even get Sevan behind the camera a little bit, and you go out and have some fun with it. I think that would make some great content and be a lot of fun. All right, brother. Thank you so much for your call, dude. Great perspectives. Cool. Hey, you are doing amazing for the community. I love that you're not only leading from the front for your gym, but for all affiliate owners. There's so much that could take away. And I love the fact that you're packaging everything that you've learned, and you're going to make that just available in multiple different ways for affiliate owners. That's huge. I think DeCoons will probably be reaching out to you soon to develop some sort of strategy.
Sounds great, brother.
All right, man. Thanks for your call, Joe. Bye.
All right, bye. Yeah, bye.
That's awesome. So those numbers that he kind of spit out, and I know if you don't really own an affiliate, or you're just not familiar with like the leads thing, the 111 leads, the 5 to 9 people in the pipeline, and the potential net 20 members is insane. If he's able to package this in a way that has maybe like 80% of that consistency, regardless of the location that he's in, that is such a huge deal for CrossFit and for CrossFit communities. Like it's nuts. And to give you guys some perspective too, like if you were to spend $1,000 on advertisement to achieve only 5 members in your gym, that would still be profitable by month 3 on your $1,000 of investment in advertisement, just by getting 5 people into your gym. Joe's doing this and spending his time, not even $1,000, and getting 4x to 5x that. So that is crazy. Yeah, Cave Dastro, that's probably about 10x from normal. If you're just kind of like sitting there, and we've been super lucky as CrossFit gyms. Like I will tell you guys, like my whole business has been built off referrals, and I'm assuming majority of the gyms, like when I say like the first like probably right before the pandemic, up until right before the pandemic, the only thing we did was referrals. That was how people showed up at my gym. And in fact, the first like 2 years that I opened it, I only had an email. I didn't even have like a phone number and stuff like set up. And it was just people bringing in their friends and having a great time. We did a lot of community events. We still do. And that really keeps the community tight and allows it to be a fun outlet, which people bring people to, and then they become members. I put a couple starred comments up here that I wanted to go through real quick. Jeff, our lovely Jeff, he put, love the guy that looks good in a suit, knows the buzzwords, and has all the right papers. That is it. That's exactly what Joe was just talking about, where it's like from a partner managing perspective, you're just looking at the resume and going like, oh, check this box, check this box, check this box. Good to go, move them in. And that the nuance with the CrossFit community, it's really tough to do that in the same way. Clock. Jay partnered with the founder of the bar method and then sold it to Anytime Fitness. Was he brought on to repeat this transaction? Will he become a subsidy of, will become a subsidy of Anytime or Lifetime? Can't wait. Dude, I don't like, is it going to be packaged up to be resold? Who would be the buyer there? And can it be packaged up and sold that way? These are great questions, and I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I don't know if like Anytime or Lifetime would be the buyer there, but I think the spirit of what you're saying is something that could become a reality. Like, you know, what was, if it wasn't an L1 and it wasn't CrossFit experience and it wasn't some sort of authority in the community that they were looking for as far as bringing in the new head of affiliates, then what were they looking at in terms of why they decided to bring this guy in? And Clock's comment here about potentially packaging up CrossFit to help it, to sell it to something else could be the reason. That is one speculation there that I don't disagree with. Can we put up a poll to see who we'd rather have run an affiliate, Justin Berg or Jada Coons? Oh shit. You know what? If I was faster at doing some of the polls and stuff like that, maybe I could, but it's so hard to like manage all this stuff and still stay like present with all these at the same time. But that's fair. That's fair. Joe makes me hungry to do nails, extra slop to do more, to do nails. Joe makes me hungry to do more extra sloppy. Yeah, he does. Joe Niels is leading from the front. I mean, just I had a million questions for him as far as like, you know, does he have a go-to script that he's going off of now? Does he, you know, what works as far as an opener? How quickly in the conversation can he tell if someone's into it or not? How much like, you know, time does he spend from the conversation to then handing him over the phone to capture the information? Does he qualify a lead through looking at them, talking about them? Like, how does he choose the people he's going? These are all questions that I think would be interesting. I met him at the meet and greet on Thursday night. Such a good dude. Yeah, he seems like he's a really great guy. Susie, can you pull up the bar method? Like what, the website or like the Wikipedia on it? Let's see. Let's take a look over at it. Let's see. Mr. Burns, wait, hold on, guys. Sorry about that. Well, their website doesn't seem to be working, at least not for me right now. So that that could be one issue. All right. Well, maybe we'll get back to the bar. Oh, here we go. It just took forever to set up. Interesting. Okay, so here is the sign up online for bar today. That's what the website looks like. Reject all. Oh, it's like a streaming platform. Interesting. Okay. I don't know anything about the bar method. I don't know anything about it. Scroll these comments here. Sleeky always has great stuff. Berkshire was offered $365 million and turned it down from an individual. They're going to franchise. They don't want to sell to an individual. Interesting information. If they bought it for $200 million and they were going to have $165 million in profit based off of what they spent on certain initiatives that worked or did not work. I wonder what you think they could franchise it though? How is that? Oh, I don't know. Make sure that option C, which is neither. Yeah, Judy, no option C in this one. Will Branson, the bar method website is terrible. So hopefully they didn't hire Jay as their website designer. Yeah, that was a really kind of ugly site. That wasn't good at all. I did not like the back. God, it's getting cold here in California. And by cold, I mean like, mid 60s. Okay, so I want to get through this, which is just kind of dissecting Jay DeCoons' LinkedIn real quick. So vice president, he puts out a thing, MBA, CFE. What is CFE? Do you guys know what CFE is? Connect. Yep. Should I add a personal note? Hi, I'm talking about you on the show right now. No, just kidding. So I wanted to read this portion here because to Sleeky's last comment about saying like they're going to franchise it, like they don't want to just sell it to another, VC, like venture capital company or private equity company, or just people with money that just want to buy it and hold it for a little bit and up its value than resell it again, right? She's basically claiming that they would rather control all the affiliates, create it like a McDonald's type look to where every gym looks and feels the same, operates off the same exact systems, produces the same exact results. But his about here, as vice president at CrossFit LLC, I support the global work of over 13,000 affiliated gyms. Now, here's the issue with that L1. If the first line is going to be, I support the global network of over 13,000 affiliated gyms. Again, he's not coaching them, but he's looking over them. He's supporting them. Is the L1 important to do that? Is the L1 important to do that? I want to know your guys' perspective on that, which I already know. Yeah, it is. The fuck, of course it is. You need to have it. Ensuring quality standards. That's so okay. Let me just read the whole thing and then I'll start doing the breakdown about it. Sorry, guys. Let me just fill you in on this. This is the about on Jay Coons LinkedIn. Jay DeCoons' LinkedIn profile here about, as a vice president of CrossFit LLC, I support the global network of over 13,000 affiliated gyms, ensuring quality standards, operational excellence, and revenue growth. I lead a global team that is passionate about supporting our affiliate owners to help them achieve more success in their businesses. Okay, so now let's dissect this a little bit, if you will, and please, if you guys have a different perspective than this with me or just anything else, like call it in, throw it in the comments. Like, let's talk about this. Hopefully you have the opposite perspective. So that way we could have some good conversation about this. Okay. So I support the global network of over 13,000 affiliated gyms. Probably important to do the L1 if you're doing that. This is kind of the most interesting line right here. Ensuring quality standards. How are you going to ensure the quality standards? Number two, if the L1 is setting the quality standards, but you don't have the L1 yet, what quality standards can you ensure? Heidi, why would hopefully we have the opposite perspective, so that way we could just get on here and argue with somebody? As those words came out of my mouth, I was like, this isn't, like, nobody in this round's gonna have the opposite perspective. God, put that up on the list of so Katie, not gonna keep you here long. Was Roman allowed to have his translator on the field? And over and under, are they banging? No, just kidding. Yeah, ensuring quality standards. That sounds a lot like franchise talk, right? Emily, how he can't know quality standards without the L1. That is the predicament, isn't it? That is the predicament. So yeah, that's kind of the one thing that really gets me, where it's just kind of like thrown in the meat of there, ensuring quality standards. So the big question I have is, if he doesn't have the L1 yet, doesn't have it yet, once he does have it and kind of understands the quality standards, okay, give him the pass on that, then what happens if you're an affiliate that doesn't follow the quality standards? And what does that mean? So if the L1 decides a quality standard and you're going to say, hey, this is the book, that's only on kind of the methodology. So is it the quality standard going to be if the gym doesn't follow the methodology, or is it going to be about the systems in which they operate? Like if I don't have an on-ramp versus I do have an on-ramp class, like is one bad or one good now? And I would encourage you guys too, if you don't listen to Craig Howard and Jamie Lee's podcast over with Diablo CrossFit PRs All Day podcast, the Craig and Jamie Lee have been having on like a lot of really old school like affiliate owners that have been around for 10 plus, 15 plus years. And he did one with Adam Neifer, and he did one with Nicole Christensen. Both of them have been around, known their affiliates at CrossFit Fort Vancouver, and then Nicole Christensen, I think, is like CrossFit Roots in Colorado. If I apologize, anybody, if I messed that up. And then obviously Craig Howard over at Diablo CrossFit. They had a great discussion on like best practices, and all three of them operated differently, but all three of them have been really successful for a really long time. So that's kind of the issue with the ensuring quality standards, because if you have different gyms that are all operating, differently with their own nuances and kind of operating how they do within their own communities, and now you're saying we're ensuring those quality standards, does that mean they're all going to have to be the same? That's kind of the fear that I have with the ensuring quality standards. Like just how and what and how. Operational excellence. Okay, that's cool. No issue with that. Sure, ensuring operational excellence. I don't know how you would you're going to ensure it happens, but we want all the affiliates to operate at a top tier. In revenue growth. How? So these things just more questions rise with each one of those. Ensuring quality standards, operational excellence, and revenue growth. I mean, the big just question is how and what. I lead a global team that is passionate about supporting affiliate owners to help them achieve more success in their business. Okay, just sounds like a buzzword at that point. So that's interesting, right? Just breaking that down a little bit there. Now, let's look through some of these comments real quick. Try to get through it. Jeff, quality of running a business versus quality of movement are totally different. Lots of people on their L1 high horses here. Yeah, I mean, I don't totally disagree with you though, but I just think in terms of coming into this community and everything else and being head of affiliates, that you should definitely have the prerequisite that it takes to own the affiliate. And I understand that might just be, so to speak, in the way that you're looking at it, like checking a box, because that doesn't have much to do with his job. But I would disagree. And here's why. This might be an interesting perspective. I disagree because I think that the educational piece and what we do in CrossFit training, I think that is the most important part of CrossFit. And I think that the more that CrossFit establishes itself as the expert in the health and fitness space, that the better off it is for the affiliates and the more longevity that CrossFit, the company, will see over the years. Because that's the differentiator. So many times people are like, oh, why would I go to CrossFit and pay $200 a month and have to dodge a gym dog and there's no heating, and I could just go to 24-hour fitness for $10 fucking and have all of that? Because of the education, because of the methodology, and hopefully because of all the value you're receiving from the coaches as they help you understand that and make lifestyle changes for you and your family. And the more that we could establish ourselves as that expertise, again, the more seats that we have, or the more butts and seats we have at the L1s, the more people and affiliates you will have, the more coaches and affiliates you will have, the more we could attack kind of these bigger questions here, or not bigger questions, but the common questions of, oh, CrossFit's bad for you, or, oh, CrossFit, all they do is fake pull-ups, or you're going to get injured. And if we just pushed everything we could, kind of like the CrossFit Journal did, about what we know in the space and what we know to be true in the health and fitness space, that will start to you won't even be compared to the F45 and the 24-hour fitnesses and stuff, because they won't be relevant. You will establish yourself as something completely different. And the fact that we don't see L1 commercials just all the time, and not within just outside of our community, but also inside of our community is astonishing to me. The everything that CrossFit is a part of or partnered with should just be pushing L1 commercials with people from all walks of life. And that, I think, will just help establish the differentiator between us and everything else within the space. I mean, that was the whole NSCA case. And like, to me, the fact that that was settled and then covered up was a huge mistake, a huge slap in the face to affiliate owners. Like, we fucking paid for that. Like, Greg was fighting to keep what we were doing inside of our gyms legal. The NSCA wanted to establish themselves as the expertise in the area, and they wanted to do it through government regulation, not by just being the fucking best, but through the government by saying, hey, we're the expertise. People are getting hurt. Look at these papers that we did on CrossFit. Look at these studies. See, the injury rate is so much higher, which, by the way, those were all falsified. It was fucking made up data, made up injury rates. And they tried to use that to then say, this cannot be the leader in health and fitness. It's too dangerous. They have to go through us. So then over time, what would happen is people would come, they'd come knock on your affiliate door. Hey, do you have these training certificates? You need to keep people safe. And if you don't, what you're doing is illegal. Okay. So now that's a freaking problem. Right? And so Greg was protecting that. He was protecting the L1. He's protecting the affiliate owners. He was protecting all the ones that would come after that. And the fact that we didn't just, and we being CrossFit, the community and the affiliates and the money that was used to do that, the fact that we just didn't just bury them and then fucking own them afterwards, but yet just settle, take a check and let them move on. Fuck. Crazy. And here's the thing that blows my mind. When you talk to a lot of affiliate owners, I would say the vast majority have no fucking clue that happened. The vast majority would have no clue that happened and how important that was and how much of a slap in the face it was just to settle and take the money and go. Okay, I'm going to try to keep up with some of these questions here. Sorry, guys. You guys are just kind of like arguing with each other in here. That's great. My bigger concern with this guy is making franchise fees like $50K and reducing the barrier to entry. I don't care about the L1. Yeah, I mean, the changes that could come to affiliateship could be crazy with that. Martin, I picked your comment just simply because of your photo. I really like that. I really like that photo of you, Martin. Okay, it'd be good PR for a VP to have an L1, but it's not necessary. VPs are money and HR people. They have managers who must have their L1 that execute the VP's plan. Yeah, but I mean, yes, again, I agree, but I still just think it's the prerequisite, dude. I mean, if you want to be an authority within your affiliate, if you want to be authority within your within the CrossFit community, the L1 is the prerequisite. That's the first stone you step on as you make your way there. Jeff has some great comments. Going back to when I said call in, and hopefully you have a different perspective, Heidi. Jeff was what I was talking about, because you can see I'm using him as discussion points here. Jeff, again, Mike, I said earlier, I think everyone should take their L1. The issue here is going after the hire because he doesn't have the 2-day certification. Okay. Not buying it. Bull boy. Mike, do you think he squats below parallel? Do you think he squats at all? He does now. And I want to talk a little bit more about HQ, but I'll finish up this with Mr. Jay DeCoons here. New Dawn Ventures LLC, still working for them as a board member. New Dawn Ventures is an investment platform that comprises of experienced founders and investors providing growth capital and shareholder liquidity to emerging brands in the consumer health and wellness space. Just let that one simmer for a moment. Out of all the things we talked about. He's a board member on the New Dawn. Interesting. Okay, Bar Method, 5 years, 3 months. Brand president full-time. Became CEO first and then became brand president. Interesting. President and COO of YogaWorks. And was principal at Highland Capitals. Jay DeCoons was president and COO at YogaWorks. Jay oversaw the operations of YogaWorks' 30 locations in New York, California, with over 800 employees and north of 40 million in sales. See more. YogaWorks is the leading national provider of yoga, Pilates, and specialized group fitness programs. Seeing a little bit of a trend here, huh? Principal, this was in July of 2006 to May of 2009, developed strategies to identify and pursue growth stage investment opportunities, sourced investment opportunities by building relationships directly with entrepreneurs in financial intermediaries. Okay. Well, if you weren't skeptical of packaging for sale or packaging for potential affiliateship, then you definitely are after reading that resume. Again, if we go after a lot of the discussion that we had earlier and some of the things that we were talking about in terms of like the board just looking at the resume and why they decided to choose him, I think that kind of gives us the tell sign. Philip Kelly, who's skinnier? Sousa's or DeCoons? You tell me, bro. Philip Kelly and I were partners in a workout during the larger body athletes. Philip, anything we do now, I feel like you're gonna be like my safe bet. If we're somewhere and there's like some sort of workout and it's a partner thing, like I'm just gonna gravitate towards you each time now. You like pick a seat at the beginning of school, the beginning of school year, and you're like, I'm gonna sit here next to these people, and you do it the rest of the time. That's me and you in partner workouts. Okay, let's head over real quick and let's look at the CrossFit website. I want to talk about this. So in conclusion, I just want to anchor down Philip Kelly. I carried Susan in that workout. Facts. Philip Kelly is fit. I could attest to that. Okay, so here's the my final thoughts on Jay DeCoons. Number one, as a person, we don't know him, so I'm not talking about that. We're strictly talking about his relationship with CrossFit and is he a good fit as the hire and what his intentions is for CrossFit and why he was hired. So I think for that, we just only time will tell. We'll have to see. Who knows? Maybe we're completely wrong about this. Maybe he's going to go get the L1. Maybe we'll see some really cool stuff that'll come through that'll be really beneficial for CrossFit. Maybe some of the perspective that he could bring from outside of the space could definitely help some of the affiliate owners. So we'll give him we'll give him a chance, right? You have to give everybody a chance. Like you heard Chase say which was great, the discussion between him and Taylor when he was like, hold on a minute, hold on. And he's like, you got to give him a chance. Let him see, if we're going to be a welcoming community, you have to welcome him into the community. Let's see what happens first. And then go from there. And I agree with that perspective. I do think we should give him a chance. Let's let him in. Like Blade was saying earlier, like we're all in this together. So let's kind of see what happens from that. But trust but verify, right? So I'm open, but I'm a bit skeptical, and we'll kind of be watching it. But the thing is too, and my last note on this is, fuck, dude, like CrossFit, get it together in terms of your communication, especially when you're implementing things in. This whole like hiding shit and then being like, oh, fuck, now we have to react to it because of something that happened. And maybe hiding was the wrong word, but not being forthcoming with information as it's rolling out and then trying to backtrack into like being this reactive communication. It's not a good look. Develop your plans and your strategy behind closed doors and then present it before that takes place. That's going to be, fuck. That's going to be the biggest opportunity they could have. Dan, this feels like the opposite of giving him a chance. I was actually thinking that same thing as I was talking to this. I wanted I wanted to just try to be like fair about it, but you're right. Like I'm not super like stoked with just the way this whole thing was presented, obviously, and I am quite skeptical of what he'll be doing in his position here. But yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah, I'm just gonna mumble my way out of this. Okay. More perspectives on the L1. Dan, again, maybe it takes more than L1 to be a VP. I agree, but still should probably start there, especially with the emphasis that we place on it. Like the L1 was like birthed this CrossFit ecosystem. Like that was the seed that planted everything that it grew from, right? Like Greg compiled all the information he had and he packaged it up to be able to disseminate that information to everybody so they could use the methodology to help improve their life. I don't think that should just be overlooked. But I do agree that necessarily isn't going to maybe aid him. It's not like he read some book and now he's going to be able to perform as VP better because of that. But I think honoring and understanding the importance of it and the importance to the community of what the L1 is the reason why you would do it, not because it's beneficial from his job. Philip Kelly. Souza, does this hire make you question re-affiliating? Dude. Every year since Greg left, my affiliates fees are due in December. Every year since Greg left, I've struggled with this a little bit. But here's the deal. If I leave, people like you leave, if Craig Howard leaves, if these other people in the community leave, then the whole thing kind of crumbles. So that's the emotional side of it, right? Like if you start to see these big name people like leave and it's not replaced by something else that binds this community together, then does the whole thing does the bottom of it kind of fall out? Okay. So that's the emotional side of that, right? Now, if we're talking in terms of in business, I could still tell you that if I go and when I ask everybody who comes in my gym, hey, how'd you find out about us? Right? Hey, what brought you in here? And I look at in terms of the metrics that I have as like how are people finding the gym, what channels, I hate to use all these buzzwords as we're talking about this, but what channels are they coming through? Is it through Instagram? Are they coming through my website? Are they coming in through a Google search? All of that. I could still tell you that the number one searches that are there are CrossFit gyms near me. CrossFit gyms near me. So at a $250 a month, right? Because that's we don't know because apparently they're going to be raising the affiliate fees at some point. At least that's the current rumor that's happening right now. But at $250 a month, a $3,000 affiliate fee, I know that as long as people keep coming in through the door, on average, 2 members a month there, and then they stay, even if you have a really short lifetime value of a customer, and let's say they only stay for 3 months or they only stay for 6 months, you're still going to be coming out on top in terms of what you pay for with the CrossFit name, right? And so, yeah, like the business side of it would still tell you, yeah, it's worth it, depending on how well you have. Oh, is this true? Sleeky 4,000 January 1. Philip Kelly, it's going to be 333 and 34 cents, $333.34. 4K. Okay. And as that price raises, you could start to question the business side of it, right? And the business side of it for us is like, is paying that amount, the $250 right now, potentially the $330 a month, as that increases and starts to creep up, then you'll start to go to you heard me talk about the emotional side of it, the brand, keeping it together, the community, CrossFit's our thing, R being the affiliates, R being the L1 trainers, R being the practitioners of CrossFit that are in the gym, our thing. Our thing. But then on the business side of it, it's still like, okay, if I pay that amount, then I'm still getting ROI off of that, right? And so if that number creeps up, then the business side of the argument to stay starts to drop, and it's hard. And you can't necessarily just be, obviously making a ton of emotional decisions like, oh, I'd be so sad if I wasn't a CrossFit gym anymore and if the community fell apart. But that's interesting. Sleeky, do I lie? No, you do not. Good morning, Athena. Hope you're doing well. I like that. I really like that video on your 12-inch box jump when I saw. That shit is great. I love that. Good morning.
What's up, Susan? It's Philip Kelly.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I asked you that question about the new hire and does it make you question reaffiliating? Because, well, for a number of reasons, but one of them is I just met with a owner of a old CrossFit gym, and she deaffiliated, I don't know how many years ago. It doesn't matter, but she was basically asking me, well, why should I affiliate? She wants me to coach there, and I was asking her questions about her gym and everything, but she was like, why should I affiliate? I couldn't really give her many good answers other than the ones that we all typically would throw at her. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, I just don't see the value in it. And that's why we deaffiliated before. She's like, I don't get much out of affiliating with them other than getting to use the name CrossFit. She's like, we still do functional fitness in here, but we just can't call it CrossFit.
Yep.
That was bugging me internally because I'm like, well, I love CrossFit. That's what I do.
Yep. Yep.
So it was just a conversation that we were having. And I found it hard for me to like justify it, even with that price increase that's going to be coming too in January.
Right. It is the question, right? Like, and I mean, here's the thing.
And I totally get what you were saying about like, if you tap out, then it's like some of like the OGs who are super successful, like Craig Howard. I know Craig would be like, what the hell, dude? Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's the things like, yeah, I totally agree. Like, we got to stick together. Otherwise, like,
yeah,
the ship's just going to sink even deeper without all of us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be people and there are people who are still flying the flag, but man, they keep making it hard over at HQ.
They do. Yeah. I mean, it's tough because like, even just to come into question it, right? Like, we are CrossFit. Like, we love this community. We love the name, and we love what it represents, and we love to represent it. But it does, like, as a lot of this stuff happens that, is getting harder and harder to agree with, or harder and harder to get behind, it does start to beg the question, right? And that is the issue. And I agree with you. Like, sometimes if you come up against somebody who's like, and you saw Hiller in his last video, if you saw the one about DeCoons and kind of the new hire, he was like, why are you still a CrossFit gym? And I mean, these are fair questions for some. And these are questions that people like you and I who like, bleed this shit, like, have to try to justify in some points. And it's tough, right? It's when you come up with somebody like,
you know what? You know what her issue was? Actually, just for an example, she doesn't like, this is classic too. She doesn't like, she feels like it gives people a bad taste in their mouth, and people are worried about getting injured because people get injured doing CrossFit. I doubt she even knows the truth behind the NSCA case. To be honest with you.
Yeah, most don't, man.
But just for an example, this is an owner of a gym who no longer is affiliated, who really just is like, doesn't even care. She just wants to run her gym and carry on,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you don't blame some of these people, right? It's not like you see that and you're like instantly like, oh man, why would you do that? That's terrible. It's kind of like, oh shit. Like, all right, well, there goes another one. But you're right. I think for those of us that are really like, understand the history of CrossFit, understand Greg's vision, which I think is like what everybody's kind of still like clutched onto. And personally, that's what I'm like clutched onto. Like when he was doing the stuff with the DDCs and all those subject matter health experts, and we were bringing that into the space, and he was attacking all the lies and the disinformation that our trusted institutions were pushing out there. That's
Yeah.
what I was fucking fired up by. I was like, dude, we are going to change the world. Like when Greg was collecting all those doctors at the MDL ones going in there and giving out all those
Yeah.
information to the doctors. And then you could come back at the, the next one they'd have, and they'd push you into this lecture hall. If you already took the MDL one, and you could listen to these subject matter experts speak on different things that are happening inside the health and fitness industry and how it's tied to the medical industry. Like I was sitting in that room listening to those people and seeing this vision of what Greg was doing here. And I was like, fuck, this is it. Like this will become the new expertise on exercise science and health, and being able to go to a source of truth, right? Instead of just this corrupt fucking bullshit that have been fed for a long time and are continuing to be fed by our government regulated and ran institutions.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. Well, thank you for your perspective, dude.
Well, I'll just keep watching and
question.
see what HQ keeps coming out with, man.
Yeah.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you as an affiliate owner, dude.
Hey, thanks, bro. Come stop by sometime and
All right.
work out if you're ever in the area.
I will.
All right, brother.
And then I can have Pool Boy coach me.
100%. Yep. All right, brother. Thanks for calling.
All right, bye.
Later. Oh man, yeah. It's like what Philip was talking right there. It's like you come into like this gym owner that maybe used to be a CrossFit or something like that, and they're like, I stopped affiliating, and you're like, why? And then you try to come as an affiliate owner or just somebody who believes in it, like come back, and like you kind of have this back and forth, and then at some point, like it's you're just like, fuck, how do I even justify this? Like, is it all emotional? Is it all emotional for me? Like maybe, but I feel like it's the flag we carry, the CrossFit flag. And if we set it down, we being like the OGs, the people that really understand the CrossFit Journal that was birthed through the CrossFit Journal, that was birthed in Greg's vision. Like if we lay down the flag, like who's going to pick it back up? Who's going to carry the message? Who's going to carry the boats? If you're a David Goggins fan. Mr. Sevan Matosian. Source of truth. CrossFit was going to take the mantle from the CDC for all things health. I mean, that's what I saw. So I had this vision for my gym, and what I wanted it to be like in this really long-term kind of thought was a health center. So like, of course, it's a CrossFit gym. In the front of it, you could imagine this, we have offices, consultation rooms, like a spot that it would almost look like you were going to go to the doctor's office. But the biggest difference is you went a little bit further down the hall past the bathrooms, in a big CrossFit gym, like opened up, right? So that way you had an alternative. You could go in, maybe you're overweight, you need to make some lifestyle changes, whatever the case may be that you're dealing with. Or maybe you're just fucking sick of the answers that you were getting from our traditional kind of like slide you down the line healthcare. So you walk into my gym, they go, oh, hi, Mike. I'm just going to use Mike here. Hi, Mike. Welcome in. Oh, you're here to see Dr. So-and-so? Great. Go right up and make the left down the hall. So then they go down, they see their doctor. The doctor's able to start to build a relationship, ask the right questions. And then when they go, okay, rather than say, all right, well, I'm going to send you over here. I'll make sure you have some diet and exercise, and go down to CVS and fill your prescription. And we're going to start monitoring your stuff because you're going to be on meds. Or the alternative of that with, hey, if you don't make these changes here and start to move a little bit more and eat better, you're going to have to come back and get on prescription meds. So instead of that, the doctor that you would see that would be in my gym would say, or in my facility, would say, okay, great. Hey, what we're going to do is I'm going to send you to two places. We're going to send you down over to our trusted dietitian here that's going to go ahead and get you set up with what you need to make sure you're on the right path to eating meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, little starch, no sugar. And then after you go see them, we're going to go send you over to my CrossFit coach here. And they are going to help you out with getting yourself starting on some movement. And then there you go. So rather than being written a prescription for drugs, or just being told, hey, go do this, find an outlet for it. And if you don't, which nobody fucking does that. I mean, very few people go to the doctor and get that news and like walk out the door and say, hey, now I'm going to make a bunch of lifestyle changes. Like it happens, which is great. But without the help, without a resource there, chances are it just goes away. So then afterwards, you go and see the doctor. The doctor prescribes you to the dietitian helps you out with making some changes in your diet, and hopefully they start adding stuff in rather than just start taking stuff away, right? They really look at it and they understand the long-term approach that they're going to take to your diet. So that way, when you go to the normal doctor and they say, go to diet and exercise, you don't start scrolling on Instagram or Facebook and just find the latest, 6-week challenge, right? But like you actually understand it from a holistic, like long-term approach perspective with your eating. Then you go over and you go see your CrossFit coach. And we start going through, hey, are you hurt? Like, what's going on with the body? Like, what are some things that we're going to have to progress to work towards? Like, what does this look like, right? And then they start to get you moving. And then on top of that, when you walk through to that last door and you enter into the CrossFit gym, you have the most important piece, in my opinion, which is the community of like-minded people that you're going to be around. That's what's going to keep you consistent, is finding your people, going into that gym and getting yourself healthy. That will give you that small motivation to get in the door every day. That will start to lead to the habit and the consistency that hopefully forms with your eating and with your exercise. And we all know that when a bunch of CrossFitters like get together like that, like everything starts to change, because you don't want to be the guy that shows up with a box of donuts. Maybe if it's like a holiday party or something, but just on average, right? Like you don't want to be the one that walks into your affiliate, like was a CrossFit coach and is like, hey, here's a box of donuts. Like, so with that pressure of the community and the like-minded people in there, it helps make sure that this stays this way, because it's like, it's the same thing. You wouldn't show up with some alcohol at your AA meeting, right? You would hide that shit. You would fucking lie about it. You would hide it. And at least that creates kind of this like shame or guilt that will help kind of hopefully put you on the right direction, because you want to be, in with this crowd and you want to keep with this community and you want to make sure that you're staying fit and healthy. And when Greg was doing the DDC, and DDC stands for Derelict Doctors Club. When he was doing those, I kind of had this vision, because again, I was a real student of Greg, of the of everything he was putting out in the journal. I was watching kind of these things that he was doing at CrossFit HQ, and I was like, holy shit, this kind of aligns with exactly the vision that I was kind of seeing and where Greg was taking this. And that's why I was so adamant on like getting myself into that DDC, because I wanted to like get in there. I wanted to see what he was doing. And it confirmed exactly what I was thinking. But I also just wanted to be within that collection of people. And luckily for me, through Sevan, he sent me the email. At the time, it's Karen Thompson. She was director of CrossFit Health. And luckily, I was able to get in there. Once I got in there, I was like, holy shit, this is it. And that was a vision that I could get behind. And it was massive. There was no like ceiling to it. Like we were going to take on fucking big pharma. We were going to take on the corruption through the health institutions. Like we were going to fucking get after it. And that fired me up. That fired me up. And so I was excited about that vision. And now I don't know if that vision is still there. Like, are we going to see the current administration at CrossFit HQ say, hey, a bunch of this shit that these health institutions are telling you is fucking bullshit, and here's the truth, and here's why? I don't know. One second here. Caller, good morning. You're live on the show.
Hey, Souza.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
First time caller, man. Casey out of for CrossFit Ridge City in Jonesboro, Arkansas. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks for calling, Casey. What can we do for you?
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, I'm a little behind on the live. I'm working out, running the streets, and so if this has been talked about, just tell me to shut up and I'll go. But the question I have, and I've reached out to my affiliate representative, which is something that I think is a big part. Like if us affiliates are concerned about what's happening with DeCoons, I assume you're still on that topic.
Yep.
I think we all need to reach out to our affiliate representatives. I think that's going to be number one. This needs to be like, your representatives for government. We need to reach out to our representatives and express some concern, number one, and ask questions. I've done that with Chase Ingram, who's mine, and I'm trying to get on a call with him soon.
Awesome.
But also
awesome.
Why was this person hired outside of that group of affiliate representatives?
That is the question, right? And that's like when I was kind of rolling through his DeCoons' LinkedIn and looking at what he had done in the past. I definitely was a little more concerned with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Because he
Yeah.
checks all the
It's
boxes on
great.
the resume, as far as like bringing in these kind of like exec types that have either packaged up and sold stuff, or have built and grown, like in his words, a brand, right? So then that way there's more value
Right.
from it, and then again they could either sell it, or they could change the way that it's being organized. But all of it is to their fiduciary obligations of growing the
Right.
business, right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, and that was just the red flag that the main red flag that I've seen in this scenario. I don't have much more than that. I just want to put it out there that, hey, if you guys if any other affiliates are concerned like I am, just reach out to your affiliate representative and let's like take it up the chain a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice there, Casey, and I think that's important to do.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you. Keep it up.
Hey,
you're doing a great job.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate the call. Have a great rest of your day, man.
All right.
Adios.
See you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like those things were put in place for that, right? Like the affiliate reps. So like maybe there is a conversation to be had there, and at the very least, maybe you'll get a few more some more answers, or maybe a different perspective that you didn't really have, or wasn't thinking about until you talked to your affiliate rep. He has Chase Ingram as your affiliate rep. I mean, that's fucking great. Like, give him a call. Chase would be more than happy. And the thing is too, is like, in my affiliate rep is Katie Hogan, and I've gotten the same vibe from her. And obviously, like, knowing Chase and everything, I get the same vibe. Like, these people aren't just here to defend a message. Like if I give Chase a call, he's going to have an open and honest conversation about it. He's going to give you his honest perspective, and he's also in it with us, right? Like he's a part of this thing. And so he wants to see it be successful, and he has the same concerns and the same aspirations that majority of the affiliate owners have. So at the very least, like, just giving your affiliate rep a call to have that conversation, or shooting an email, might just more or less just even give you just a little peace of mind, or to let you know, hey, fuck, at least I got a buddy in this. Yeah, right here. Give it the program, Chase. I'm always here for it. Absolutely. Yeah. Heidi Krum. Can we all just call Chase whatever? Or yeah, just go ahead, guys. Just start blowing up his phone. I'm sure he would absolutely love that. Oh, Frog Grat. Is that euro or euros or pounds? 10 euros or either way, thank you a ton for the money. I don't know why, but I play this like weird like validation thing, like, oh yes, like somebody donated some money. Okay, it doesn't suck that bad. We're good. Suze, I DM'd you about potentially having a call about future affiliate ownership. I'm a long way off, but want to get myself started on the right track. Taking my L1 at the end of November in the UK. Dude, that's awesome. And like the conversation we've been having, that's the way to start. Go get your L1. A couple other things I would say too, if you're whatever affiliate that you belong to right now, have an open and honest conversation with that affiliate owner. I've had a couple of calls where people are like, hey, I want to like open a gym, whatever. Maybe there isn't a conflict there with the current owners that you're, coaching under, or at the gym that you're working out at, but you never know where those conversations are going to go. And I always used to use this saying for like anybody that coached at my gym. I was like, hey, we need coaches. I need employees. I need coaches. He goes, and I said, and I'm looking for owners, but I'll settle for employees. Meaning you want somebody who is going to be like yourself, that maybe aspires to open up a CrossFit gym. And hopefully the affiliate that you're currently going to, that owner doesn't see that necessarily as like a threat, but as an opportunity to help you out, or as a potential opportunity to have a partner in the business. Maybe they need a little extra help, and that would be an easy way to get yourself into owning a gym, which is going to be relatively lower risk for you, depending on, of course, like, how the whole thing's negotiated, but it also costs you a lot less if you don't have to buy everything, and you could kind of get a little bit of a running start. But outside of that, I would say getting the L1 first and foremost. Yes. Devouring everything that you could find in the CrossFit journal. I know that we talked about like it's buried. It is buried, but it's not dead and gone. So you could still find a ton of great information in there. And then the second piece is, like I already said, let the affiliate owner know kind of your plans, and then say, hey, like, maybe you could start to take on some tasks for that affiliate owner, or do a few more jobs there that would give you a little bit more of a perspective behind the curtain as to what you're going to be up against. Because in terms of affiliate ownership, and I've talked about this a little bit before, like, you don't want to get yourself into this situation where you're like, I'm a great coach, so I'm going to get in there, I'm going to open my own affiliate, I got all these ideas and blah, blah, and you forget the whole entire side of that. It's like you're running a fucking business now, right? So there's a big transition from coaching and doing that job to now having to wear all the hats of the business owner. And that's going to be a bit of a, that's going to be a hard transition, because you may be fantastic at community engagement, you may be great at coaching a class and all of that stuff. But then when you have to go to bookkeeping, or when you have to start doing, stuff like following up with calls with members as far as like leads, or just navigating lease negotiations or issues that come up with the building owner, just all of that type of stuff, taxes, right? There's so many other things that come into it. So number one, just kind of make sure that you really want to take on all those extra jobs. Because if you don't, and you get yourself into a position where you're a really valuable asset to any affiliate, then you could go and become a number two somewhere. And I just use that for sake of just kind of like understanding it, right? Like a coach, like a GM or like a head coach at another gym, and you won't have to take on all those other responsibilities, but you might still be able to get the fulfillment in the career that you were looking for without having to also be the bookkeeper, without having to also be the person that negotiates the lease and all those other headaches that come with business ownership. I heard a joke one time that was like, hey, if you want to really fuck up your fitness, own a gym, because you'll be in the gym all the time, but you won't be working out. You'll be doing all the other shit, cleaning the toilets. Actually, I just think about that now. I got to order some more paper towels for the bathrooms, right? Like making sure the soaps have soap in them, all that type of shit that comes along with it. So make sure that you're truly, that's what you want to do, and do it on somebody else's dime. Just come in and offer your time and offer to help. And that would be the best way and easiest way for you to kind of figure that out. Find some more of these questions here. This was thanks for hanging out and being so interactive, you guys. This, like, you made this a lot of fun and really easy this morning. Samantha H, hey, says I'm a new affiliate owner. Congratulations. Oh, which I hit the fucking wrong one. I didn't mean to give you crickets. I meant to give you applause. I swear that was totally on accident. That wasn't on purpose. Just a slip of the button there. Got any tips to help increase memberships? Okay, so when you are very, very first starting out, you just opened your affiliate. Let's say you have 20 members in there. Give them everything you can. Everything you can. Develop really good relationships with them. Every time you go back home, find something else that you can learn, that you could bring to the table, that you could give them in terms of coaching, in terms of lifestyle advice of how to stay on track with their eating. Do you know their eating goals? Like, really eating goals? Do you know their goals as far as like lifestyle changes that they're trying to make? The more and more and more you could invest into your first 20 members, that's going to turn into your first 50 members, because they're going to go get everybody around them and they're going to say, oh, you should come to this gym. It's so different. Oh my gosh, I love Samantha. Like, she is so, like, she knows the name of my fucking dog and stuff, right? And like, she's really invested into me, and she gives me these awesome tips, and she goes out and she learns a bunch of stuff and she brings it back. Like, there's a lot of life and there's a lot of energy into that, because referrals are your best lead source. I basically ran my gym off the last 9 years or more just off referrals. I wasn't really into the whole like marketing thing. I didn't do a ton of it. I didn't do any like ad stuff, like none of that. I just invested and gave myself 100% into that core starting out group of members that I had. And they went and told everybody, and they became my lead generation for me. And the best part is it's not like referrals aren't linear, they're exponential. And so what I mean by that is, like, if you give, everything to one person and they go out and tell 2 or 3 people, and out of 2 or 3 people, 2 more people come in, and you do the same for them, and then those 2 people go tell 2 more people each. Now it's 4. So it, like, the growth could really happen quickly based off referrals, as opposed to just doing ads on Facebook or ads on Instagram, something like that. That's more of like a linear approach. And you're not going to necessarily get the same qualified lead because you're going to have a loudspeaker with each one of those members that you invest in everything into that are just going to be non-fucking stop. They're going to be so annoying to all their friends. You got to come into Samantha's gym. You got to come into it. Oh my gosh. Blah, blah. What's the name of your gym too? Maybe put that in things. But that's my biggest tip as far as like getting your first core group going. And like when I started 10 years ago, we're coming up on my 10-year affiliateship here. I still have lots of that original group still with me, even after all that time. Majority of the reason why they leave is they end up just moving out of state because I live in California. Okay. Nope, not Jeffrey Cohen. Judy, you don't suck, Souza. $5. Thank you. Seriously. I appreciate that a ton. Judy, do you belong to affiliate? I know I said some things about Orange Theory ignorantly because I've never actually done it before, and you got like pissed off. Not pissed off, but you were like, they acknowledge my birthday. You don't know what you're talking about. And you were right. I didn't know what I was talking about. But have you gone to an affiliate yet? Are you currently belonging to an affiliate? Oh, there it is. CrossFit Anki? Anki? Oh. Sorry, I suck at pronouncing things right. So I just like randomly mumble it and hope that everybody who's listening as I speak into a microphone somehow does not done it. Susie gave a free handy per referral. Membership skyrocketed. But it was weird. It was only dudes that kept showing up. I wasn't really sure why. Do I have a degree? Negative. Jeffrey, like I said before, like I graduated high school on a plea bargain. It wasn't until about 6, 7 years ago as I made the transition of being like, I'm going to go to regionals and be a competitor in like my mid to late 20s that I was like, damn, I should probably become just as focused on this and as aggressive as my competitive CrossFit into the business side. And so I just started to devour books because that's kind of the way that I learn, and I listen to a lot of them on Audible. I read a lot of them. And the main thing is I immediately try to apply that knowledge. And so, no, I've just kind of just been feeling my way through the dark. The internet's a huge advantage. Like I hate when people aren't resourceful and they're like, well, no one told me. I'm like, motherfucker, you got the internet, you got Google, son. Even though it might skew the results and have a wee bit of a narrative defending on it, you could still find information. Like if you brick and mortar businesses have been around for a long, long time. And there's a lot of information on that. So like, don't ever use the excuse like no one ever told me. Like, no, you just didn't take the time to drop it into the Googles, to YouTube, search out the information you were looking for. So no, Jeffrey, I don't have a degree. I had a 2-year stint at Academy of Art University where I was a freelance illustration major. I was mostly focused on charcoal drawings and aerosol artiste, although that wasn't part of the school. That was some extracurricular in moonlighting. But yeah, no degree, just lots of books. Susie trying to make this. Yeah, I know. The buttons are almost the same. Like the crickets versus the applaud button is like this like darker yellow and like lighter orange. So yeah, but I fucked that up. You're right, Bailey. I did one time so it was funny. Everybody in my family that graduated from college, which is majority of them, except for me, the black sheep, got like this check from my grandpa on my mom's side. And it was like, it was funny because it wasn't until years later. So you go to the graduation parties and like you kind of sit there and I feel like a fucking loser because it's like, oh, there's another one of your cousins that graduated college. Oh, there's your brother that graduated college, all this shit. And at that time I had owned the gym, but I wasn't really I was still like going after to be the regional competitor. I wasn't really like diving into like how to operate a business and how the world around me worked. And so it was funny because multiple years later, as the gym started to get successful, when I owned it on my own, I didn't have the partners anymore. My parents knew that it was a failing gym at the time, and I was able to get it from failing to becoming profitable to growing to becoming sustainable for other people now to have their livelihoods off of it and creates a living for me. and got a great membership and a bunch of other stuff like that. It wasn't until years after that my grandpa kind of came over on one of the visits. It was actually really meaningful to me because he was like, here, and handed me a card. And when I opened it up, it had the same kind of like congratulations that all the cousins and everybody got from graduating college. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And I opened it up and it said like, congratulations on graduating the School of Hard Knocks. And he ended up giving me the same cash that everybody graduated, which was pretty cool and like meaningful. And now all those motherfucking college students go to me for advice. Just kidding. But seriously. Love a good Who Is Sue's episode. We kind of did that with Coffee Wads and Pods with Pedro. If you guys check that out, I got into a little bit of it there. I'm always like skeptical of that too, which was kind of funny. I was talking to Sevan about it afterwards and he's like, no, it was good that people knew that. Like, thought you were a fucking nerd. I was like, okay, that's true. That's true. So yeah, it's kind of interesting when people hear some of the stuff. Yes, I did Orange Theory Fitness for almost 10 years, but now I'm fully fledged CrossFitter. Okay, CrossFit 118 outside of Columbus, Ohio. 70s has converted me a few months ago. Awesome, Judy. That's cool. You should call in and like tell us about that experience one time. Like, what was it like when you got there and like how that whole thing went for you? I think that would be awesome. Jeez Louise. Good to see you, Jesus. Susan, I look forward to owning an affiliate someday. Yeah. That's awesome. It's really great, fulfilling work. Like, you know, the days are long. So I'll give you Friday, for example. This last Friday, I got to the gym 5:15 in the morning, opened it up. I coached the 5:30 a.m. class. I coached the 6:30 a.m. class. I came here. I hopped on with Sevan for a while on the podcast. I jumped off of it. I drove out to Hayward. I met with my firefighters at the fire station that I was supposed to go to. That I was scheduled out for that day. Came back. Had a couple meetings, 2 meetings. Went back to the gym just before lunchtime. Had a one-on-one, an intro course, no sweat intro course there. Did that, worked out. Then did some, housekeeping stuff that I had to do at the gym. Hopped in my car, drove back here, found out I was going to host that evening show. Hosted that evening show, ate a little food, then went back to the gym and coached the last day of our ACEs youth strength and conditioning, and got back home about 9:30 that night. And so the days are super long, but like fulfilling, because you're building relationships with a bunch of people. You're providing a bunch of value for them that they're taking and like improving their lives with. And that contribution that I'm able to make, that small piece of it to like empower them, hopefully to make some better decisions, especially the kids. And by the way, side note here, Mike Pullboy, the kids, they love him. He's such a good coach. Like, he basically came in and swept everybody off their feet. They had their own little like Ric Flair thing. And I was like, what the fuck? I've been doing this for a year. They don't even like me that much. One of the kids gave him a card. Anyhow, it's really fulfilling because you're making an impact. You're contributing to them in hopefully a really big way. And the information and the feelings and the things that they're getting from you at the CrossFit gym, hopefully that is slowly spreading to the people closest within their circle. And I mean, what a better thing to be able to do in life, to know that you're contributing to people that are going to go out and contribute as well. It's got that nice chain effect in there. Aaron, thank you so much. I think you donated to like majority of the shows that I've done. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you a lot. Do you typically lean towards educational books, or do you just read for pleasure and other genres in stuff? As I see you have a lot on the box, buddy. I only really read and listen to books on finance, books on business management, books on leadership, books on communication. I read a lot of like biographies on people, or like the starts of companies and things like that, because I love to hear that story, like that rise to the top kind of story and all the trials and turbulence that came during that. But no, I don't read. No, I don't read just for pleasure. Like, I'm not like a Harry Potter fan, or I don't read any of those type of novels, or like some of the stuff that you see Dave Casher read, like these classic novels and things like that. I strictly like to have the information that I could read or listen to and then apply. And I'm a really, really like hands-on guy in terms of like how I need to learn. So if I have information from a book or something like a course or something like that I took, then I have to immediately go back within the same day or very shortly thereafter and apply that information, because otherwise I don't really retain it. And one of the things that I've done this year is actually reduce the amount of books that I read or listen to and try to apply them more, or re-listen to a few that I had in the past that gave me like a lot of like value, that were good books that made a big impact on what I was doing, and try to get that information. Because I truly believe that as human beings, we don't really need to learn a lot more all the time, as much as we just need to be reminded. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I really was on a kick for like a book or two a month for a long time. And I thought that quality, like, gave me some validity or something like that. And I think the reason why too, and this is something that I've kind of done a lot, like throughout my life, is I feel like I'm this ping pong ball, right? Like Harry Potter. Oh, young Clark Truth says, I know people that read a book a week, but I mean, and I'd be lying to say that I didn't do that a little bit myself, right? Like I'd be like, oh, I found this thing that on average CEOs of major companies read like 3 books a month. So I'm reading 3 books a month now. And I realized like, fuck no, it's like, it's way more about the applied material. Like you'd be better off reading like 3 books a year, but extracting as much value and information as you can out of those books, and then like applying it. Like you'd be far more beneficial than that, than just the number of shit that you're bringing in. I will tell you that. Hold on, there was some other. Geez Louise again. It is very fulfilling. I love our members, and I love to see them succeed in a way that they think I've been coaching since 2019. Yeah, it's great. I mean, for me, especially with like the firefighters, like I really love that job, like a lot. Like it was great. Like there was a period of time, especially in the pandemic, like where I was like, fuck, do I really want to keep the brick and mortar? Do I really want to keep the brick and mortar like open, because that's a lot of expenses, as opposed to like with the firefighter contracts, there's, other than my time and like my gas, and you could maybe include the maintenance on the car if you want to be a real stickler about it. But besides that, the fucking, the return on investment on that is huge, because there's no overhead. The overhead's super low. Like I said, it's like gas in the car. When I work with those individuals, like the firefighters and stuff like that, that feels really, really rewarding, because when you go in there and I'm dealing with a firefighter that, maybe he's been dealing with like a shoulder thing for months. And here's the thing with that group of people, those people with the firefighters, especially, they don't really say shit. Like they're not, like majority of them aren't going to complain. So you go in there and I'm like, hey, how's your shoulder been? It seems like it's moving a little bit weird. And they're like, oh yeah, it's been bothering me a little bit. And I'm like, oh, how long? They're like 6 months. I'm like, what? That's a long time, dude. What's going on with it? Like, oh, my whole arm is numb. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, why don't you say something? So like, but being able to then give them the tools and the resources to fix their shoulder, or to alleviate it of pain, or give them back their range of motion. And then they come back to me the next time I stop at the firehouse, and they're like, dude, I was on call for this one thing, and I was reaching up and grabbed it, and I had no pain in my shoulder. And I was like, fuck yeah, I could like move all around and like do my job better. I was like, holy shit. Like that's hugely rewarding, because I know that the impact that I make on those individuals are the ones that are going around town, keeping us safe, helping us during these emergencies. And to be able to have a small contribution to them and what they're able to do so they could do it better, is really fulfilling for me, because I'm helping the people that help the community. So that's huge and so much more rewarding. But I was talking a little bit, and I want to make this statement. This might be give you guys a little bit insight more on me. I feel like I'm this ping pong ball. Remember the old game that's like the paddles moved, pong, and the ball would just kind of like bounce back and forth, and you just kind of kept the ball in there. So especially like with this book, so when I started and I owned the affiliate on my own, or like people would be talking to me about business or something like that, because I'm a business owner now. I feel like I'm the ball, and the two paddles, excuse me, are a superiority complex. I could do this better than anybody. No one's as good as me, in like crippling insecurity. of like, fuck, I suck. And, this is never going to work. Who do I think I am to do this? Right. So those two paddles move and I'm that ball that just kind of bounces back and forth, back and forth. But when I hit that side, that makes me feel like, okay, I'm insecure. I'm in over my head. This isn't something that, I should be doing, or maybe I'm not capable of. I try to leverage that. So rather than like leaning into it or succumbing to it, I'm like, okay, so what could I do now that I could build my confidence, not fictitiously, not like fake it till you make it type shit. But like literally, like what skill set can I start to improve or start to work on that would help raise my confidence and lower that insecurity? Not, like I said, because I'm faking till I make it, but it's an earned confidence. It's because no, I developed these skills. I tried new things. I made the mistakes. I learned from them, and now I'm growing from it. And that kind of the books and like the learning and all that really helped with that side of it, especially as I owned the business all on my own, because you feel like you're so connected to your affiliate. Like, fuck, it's such a personal job. Like when somebody leaves your gym, you're like, oh fuck, I suck, and at the same time, it's like, no, you don't. Well, maybe you suck, but no, necessarily, it really has nothing to do with you a lot of times. And if it does, and you get feedback on, hey, I left because of this, then great. Now, rather than defending your ego and being like, well, that person doesn't fucking know anything. Again, lean into that, leverage it, and say, okay, does what this person said have validity? And can I work on this to change it, to make it a little bit better? And that's kind of rolling it back. Everybody comments on that Phil Knight book, The Shoe Dog. Sometimes some of these best books are ones that most people that like aren't like super popular. Like the one on how to be a great communicator. There's another one that's behind me. Oh, you can't really see that one, but that one was great, and I'd never like heard of that book before. Samantha, you had a question. I'm gonna end on this, I think. Can you dive in a bit more about this firefighter program? I only know bits and pieces of it. Yes, I can. Trying to think how to position this. Like, if you wanted to get your own contract, or like specifically, what do I do with the fire? Okay, I won't get into like how to get the contract and like the business side of it and like what you need to do to prove that it's actually worth it to the city or to the department. We'll save that for another time because that might bore most people on that side of it. But here's what I do with them. I'm scheduled at one particular station each month, usually 3 to 4 days a week, depending on what's going on. I go to that station, and when I get there, I do a wide variety of things. I usually have an in-body scanner with me. I bought it a couple years ago for our nutrition reset that we do out here, and at the gym. And but you could close it down, and like I bring it with me to the station. So I usually show up, and I'll go there and ask everybody how they're feeling. And that's a very broad question, but I use it just as kind of like a icebreaker a little bit. Like, hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody feeling today? And then I'll start going down the line. Like, hey, and I'm making these names up. Jim, last time we talked, dude, you had a little bit with your shoulder thing. Has that thing gotten better? Right? And you start to get real specific. How's your hips been? Last time I said, hey, you're moving kind of a little funny. Hey, you're moving a little slow today. What's going on with that low back? Those type of things. And once I start to get into the conversation with them, things start to come out. Hey, I have been dealing with this thing with my back, or hey, I have been doing something with my shoulder. And then I'll go and do some mobility stuff with them. Like, okay, let's just take 10 minutes real quick. Let's do a quick assessment of your shoulder. Let's look at it. What type of restrictions are happening? Because normally when it comes to mobility things, you could do two things with it. You could either strengthen or you lengthen, right? Pretty simple. So in terms of like, if you got hit by a bus and there's an issue, then that's kind of outside of that realm, right? That's different. But if you have one of those injuries that just kind of, not even an injury, like a muscle tightness or an ache that's just kind of there, but you don't know why, chances are you need to strengthen it or you need to lengthen it, and it rhymes so you can remember it. And so I'll work with them on that a little bit. If everybody's all good at that station, I'll try to pressure them into an in-body scanner. I usually get them scanned once a year for sure, like everybody in the department once per year. At least I try to capture everybody in the department. If not, doing it on kind of this quarterly basis or so with them. And then we'll do that. Usually once they get scanned, the conversation about diet starts to open up. Which is cool because since I live at the firehouse, I joke around with some of the guys I'm closer with, and I'll start like opening the cabinets. I mean, like, okay, well, this shit could go. Well, this shit could go. Well, this is going to help you. And we'll start to have those conversations or work with them on that. That could be really like in depth sometimes, where I could work with these guys like closely for a long period of time with their diet, or it could just be some simple questions to like get them off on the right track. And majority of the firefighters, as you guys know too, are like, they're independent, capable people. So a lot of times once you kind of set them on the right track, or even just give them the accountability of like, hey, these numbers ain't right, and you know they ain't right, that helps them a ton to kind of like keep them to be like, okay, I'm back on track now. You kind of showed me the numbers of what I thought was happening, and now this is confirmed, and I can move on to correct those things. And then sometimes I roll up and I just basically, like, if the crew does CrossFit in particular and I show up, they're going to be like, oh, fuck, hey, Susan's here. And the rest of the guys of the crew come out, and I literally just run it like a CrossFit class at my affiliate. So we'll just get in, I'll write up a workout on the board based off how they're feeling and what they've done for that day. There's no particular program because a lot of these guys do their own thing, and I only see them, very, like, if you're at your station, I'll probably see you 2 or 3 times a month, and then I may not see you again for multiple months, just with how the schedule works out. You figure I'm managing 9 stations, 3 battalions, so A shift, B shift, and C shift across 9 stations. So to keep up with all of it is pretty tough. But if you get the crew that's into it, that's into CrossFit, like one station, all the guys did CrossFit and they were all signed up for the open. So during the open time, when I went to that station, we literally did the open workouts, and like I judged them and helped set up all the stuff. So that was like a lot of fun. But so that's basically what I do with them. And I work with the recruits for the academy as well. So we start all of them off with a movement assessment. I teach them what I call the big 3, which is going to be the squat, the deadlift, and the press. And I use those 2 to see how well in tune they are with like moving with their bodies. And I also use that to see any mobility restrictions like right off the bat for those major lifts, because those major lifts are also, they're going to see outside while they're doing their training and everything else. And then I'll do an in-body scan with them at the beginning of the academy, so we could kind of monitor what that was like at the beginning versus what that was like at the end. I also do a short mobility assessment with them, because I say that's kind of the crystal ball into like, is something going to come up in the academy? So I'll test their hip flexion, we'll test their ankle flexion, I'll test a little bit of their shoulder mobility, super basic stuff. It's not like crazy in detail, but again, it just kind of gives me the like scope of like, okay, is there anything that's jumping out at me right away that we need to be aware of? And then we'll actually go through the movements, and I'll teach the squat, I'll teach the back squat, I'll teach the deadlift, and I'll teach the strict press. And it's extremely simple. It's extremely fundamental, and that's all I focus on. Like, we don't get fancy with it. I keep it to the basics. I keep it to the fundamentals, and we try to do them really, really well. Like, that's kind of the goal. And so that's what I do with them in terms of like the actual job that I show up and I perform. And then with the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department, I just work with them through their academy. So day 1, I go out on the tower, I do a little talk, I do a little introduction of who I am and what to expect during their physical training during the academy time. And then they show up to the gym 2 days a week. Usually I have done 4 days, we've done 3 days, but the cadence the last like year or 2 has been 2 days a week. And they show up at the gym for an hour before they go over to the tower. And what I do with them is, that's basically like, the academy is normally like 20 to 22 weeks, I think. And I get them for like 18 out of those weeks. There's other stuff that goes on where they don't make it into the gym for those times. But I teach them, it's an elongated like on-ramp class. So if you were to come and show up in the first couple of weeks, you'd be like, I thought they did CrossFit. This seems a little like slower. This seems like you're breaking these modalities into individual parts. And I do that on purpose, because when I got a group of 20 or 22 guys and I only have 1 hour and I assume all of them know nothing, that's not always the case. Some of them are basically starting at ground zero, but a lot of them have pretty good like experience. Some of them may even belong to CrossFit gyms and stuff like that. And I build it up as I would the on-ramp class, but I extend that over multiple weeks. So if you were to show up, like I said, the first week, you kind of be like, this doesn't really seem like CrossFit necessarily. Like, they're learning some of the movements, but they're not necessarily doing the Metcon. And that would be because we're trying to get what down? Their mechanics. That's right. That's all we're focusing on for those first couple of weeks, the mechanics. And then after their first like 10 sessions or so, and we've gone through the mechanics, we're just looking for consistency. So then we elongate some of the stuff. So instead of teaching back squat and being long-winded or being really like, critical on teaching it the same way I would at the same way you would see it at an L1, now they get some weight on the bar. And now we have a heavy day. And then it slowly ramps up. So then if you were to show back up, 6-8 weeks into it, after we develop the mechanics, I'm feeling comfortable with it. They all know what they're doing. We've seen that consistency. We've seen the consistency, maybe them moving a little faster. I've seen consistency as they move under load, meaning with some weight on them and stuff. Then you'll start to see the more metcons come in during that time. And I also run it a little bit more indicative of main site programming when I'm doing the academy at my gym. So when they come in and they have a heavy day, we're just doing back squat, 5 sets of 5 all the way across. And that would be their whole workout for the day. I put in a bunch of accessory work and stuff like that. I front load that as kind of like the warm up and everything else. So they don't just come in and back squat, right? Like there's a whole thing to it, but that's pretty much how I run it. And like I said, by like 6 or 8 weeks in, then I'm kind of running a normal CrossFit class. And then those last couple of weeks, it basically converts into where they do the same workout as my class. So then I just come in and basically run the CrossFit gym. Now I will say I package it differently. So, I'm not having them climb rope. I'm not having them necessarily get upside down, get a little inverted, but I'm not having handstand push-ups or anything like that. We're not doing a ton of Olympic weightlifting and things like that, just because it's the Olympic weightlifting we do, but some of the higher skill gymnastics and stuff I stay away from, just because I want them to get the biggest bang out of their buck while they're in here. And I have to justify everything I do to the city and stuff. So what I mean by that is if I have rope climbs in the workout and now all of a sudden they lost one of the recruits, I don't mean it that way, but they slid down or something happened and they burnt all the skin off their hands or something like that, then the department's going to come to me and be like, hey, we had so-and-so and why were you having them climb rope today? And if you're like, oh, and you can't justify it, as opposed to just having them do some strict pull-ups or something like that. So you do have to navigate that a little bit. But a lot of them will convert over and become members of the gym afterwards, in which case they are doing all the same skills as the class. So it is a little bit void of some of the higher skill gymnastics you would see, just because I, again, have to justify everything kind of through the department, through the city. So Samantha H. So this is a county-wide contract for all the departments in your county? No, so we don't do county. It's all like city. So yeah, it's citywide. So what I do with like Livermore Pleasanton, it's for the cities of Livermore Pleasanton. What I do for Hayward Fire Department is for Hayward Fire Department. Livermore, Pleasanton, and Hayward are all Alameda County. So it's broken by city, not necessarily by county. We do have the Alameda County Fire Department. I don't have a contract with them, but it's all city based. And again, I think next time we could get into, if you guys want to know like how I got the contract, how do I justify it to the city? Because that's more the business side of it, right? Because the city, just like everybody else, they want to see a return on their investment. You have to justify your cost. How much do you charge for it? All these kind of like logistical questions. Like I'll save it for next time. I'm doing a solo show and holding down the fort here, so that way I got some more meat on the bone to talk about it. What is an InBody scan? Okay, I'll show you this real quick. I should reach out to them. They should fucking sponsor the show. They really should. Show you what I use. We'll end on this here. Sorry, give me one sec while I bring it up. Boom. Okay, so this is an InBody scan here. This is the one that I have, the 270, and basically it just gives you a little bit more of an in-depth on what's going on. So it'll tell you obviously your body weight, but it'll give you your skeletal muscle mass, like how much muscle you have on your body, and it'll give you your body fat percentage. And so, oh shit, I didn't click it. I got to change the screen. Sorry, guys. This is the one. Yeah, the InBody 270. And they have fancier ones that do a lot of stuff. Like will tell you kind of like your whatever, like hydration and things. But this one folds up and just is super portable. And so that's why we decided to go with this one, because Grace also does the nutrition reset that we do. We call it the challenge, but it's not like a weight loss challenge. So the word doesn't necessarily fit it that well. But when she does her nutrition reset stuff, we also got this one to travel. She did it with Stanford Hospital out here in Palo Alto, where she took the program that she developed to that hospital. And so it's nice to have one that folds up because it sits in the affiliate the majority of the time, like in the office there, which is used for the members and everything else. But when we do need to bring it somewhere, we close it up and we could take it. And so, yeah, it gives us some cool insights, but it also saves all the information. And then I could plug into the back of this or extract all the information that's on there and then upload it onto my computer and save all of it. And again, all the metrics and data are super important to keep when you're dealing with the fire department because they all want to see shit on paper. And by they all, I mean like the city and stuff like that. So when the department goes to justify like, hey, we've been paying this person X amount of dollars, they've been coming in, they go, okay, great. What have they been doing? And now you could bring this in and we could show the mobility assessment and hopefully the improvements over time with, the department's mobility. You could show the body fat percentage, the skeletal muscle mass, the average weight of the department or individuals, and hopefully that improves over time, which all those matter in terms of their healthcare costs. So when you talk about the mobility improvement, if you're not going out with these small little aches and pains, that could just be solved by, just somebody with a little bit of knowledge helping you do the exercises to get yourself out of pain free. You have less people that go out on workers' comp stuff, less visits to the doctor's office, less costs in healthcare things. If you have one of these in-body scans and we're, making sure that everybody has the correct skeletal muscle mass, the body fat percentage, they're getting these numbers, which helps keep them accountable. Then again, we could go back to the city and I can show that, hey, look, everybody dropped a bunch of body fat percentage, which therefore is going to help with long-term healthcare costs for the department and for these guys when they retire and everything else later on. So that's kind of why if you have some sound metrics, the city and stuff like that, it'll be much easier to justify your spending. It'll be much easier to justify everything you do. If you just kind of show up and do it and you're not really documenting anything, especially things that are important for them to see, or you can make them important for them to see by saying, hey, these things do this, and then it's going to save you money here on the back end. Then it's going to get a little tougher to get your contract. So that's why I particularly like the InBody Scan 270. And for that's the only free one you fucking get, InBody. Someone's going to kill me for plugging them out that well without them sponsoring us. You need to fucking sponsor us, InBody. And so, yeah, so that's what I use. That's what an InBody scan is. And that's the reason why I use it. Question, Top Eyes, do you charge a membership for the InBody? Not a membership. When you first come in, we do your first one for free. I think they're like $20 a scan after that if you want to get it. And then we also, like Grace does stuff where she'll include a InBody scan and then kind of like this consultation on like, where you need to go in terms of your lifestyle choices and eating that will be optimal for your health. Zachary Souza, do you find that body fat percentage are pretty accurate? Do you cross-reference it with cow pills? No. Like the pinch test or whatever. The closest thing we've done it with is like a dunk scan, like in the DEXA scans where like you go in there or it does a scan and they're pretty accurate. Like you might have a few, percentage points that are off here and there, but from our uses in terms of just justifying that there was some sort of change and then just having some sort of baseline metric, this works well. And since we're reusing the same thing to scan them, that same baseline, it runs. It's kind of like the same principle of like, hey, the 400 meter track you run is, 380. So it's not necessarily 400 meter, but if you're measuring your 380 each time, you're still going to see that improvement. You just, oh, fuck, that was probably a terrible analogy. Sorry. And I made you all stupider because of that analogy. But yeah, that's the other thing. It gets a little personal, right? Especially if you're working with the female clientele. You're like, yeah. So it just makes it a little bit easier. And here's the other thing too, Zachary. It doesn't matter who does it, right? Because when you do body fat percentage and stuff like that with like a pinch test or something, it's like, can Zachary now be replaced? So if you have and this is getting a little bit into the system side of it, but if you have a metric that you're using and one person does it all, and for some reason you're either need to be at the gym or you're going on to get another firefighter contract, and then you send somebody else to go do that same test, it's like, will that give you the repeatability? Like, will it give you the baseline there to be consistent? Because some of these things, in terms of the way that I think, is like, can I be replaced by another individual that could keep giving me the same result, can produce the same result without me being here? And that's a really good line of thinking to have in terms of like business, because you want to be able to always develop some sort of system that's going to produce the same result that you want without you having to be there. And if you do that right from the get-go, it makes life so much easier. But if you do it in your business, at your affiliate, or anything else you do, and then you have to backtrack into it years later, it becomes a lot tougher. So it just gives me a consistency, whether it's me doing it or whether it's not. Todd Myers, are along the thinking as long as you measure the same system that should be accurate. Yeah, that's right. And it's not like, I'm not going for like crazy accuracy for these guys and gals. I'm basically just going for like some sort of baseline where we could start from. So, take it for what it is. Like if I measure somebody and it shows that they're 0.3% body fat, but if we did it, through a DEXA scan or dunk or something like that, and they were like, oh no, it's actually 11.6. Like, does that matter that much for my use? And the answer to that is no. We just want to make sure that they're healthy. And the biggest thing we focus on too for the long-term health is skeletal muscle mass. That's the hugest thing. I'm like, dude, the more muscle you got on the body, the healthier you're going to be. Get that muscle mass up. So that way, when you're 80 and shit, if it's still high, you're going to live a lot longer. Aaron, will AI replace any of these tools that, including what the one-on-one offers to help the individual? Not in our lifetime. I think that the human touch is always going to be trump everything, at least in the next 50 years. Once shit gets realistic enough to where you can't tell the difference, like we're already kind of seeing a little bit of that happen, like online with a video and photo format, like then shit might get weird. But for right now, you definitely need a human. And I think like we're going to see the major shifts in the industry. I think we're going to see come in terms of like lawyers. I think AI will replace lawyers quickly. I think AI will replace surgeons. Things like that, things where you need to where the information is all already there. You just need to compile it in a certain way, or you need something with really precision that is going to give you the same exact result, regardless of, sleep or mood that day or something like that. So you could see that like if a robot was built, and you were all hooked up to this machine, it could probably perform a surgery on somebody with a higher accuracy than the best surgeon. And eventually it will get there. So that's what I think the first type of things we'll start to see AI take over with. Samantha H, end with a favorite book for an affiliate owner. That's a perfect ending. There is a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But I will say this. There's a lot of different categories of when we're talking about like, hey, recommend a book. Well, it's like, okay, am I recommending a book in terms of, finance? Is it in terms of systems? Is it in terms of communication? Is it in terms of leadership and dealing with your staff? Like there's lots of different ways you could go with it, right? But let me see. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'll bring it up. But this is where I think you should start. Hold on. I wanted to give you a visual for it. Sorry. I see you guys want to you're just clicking around on here. This is where I would start. If you want to add some value to your personal affiliate, or you're going to start an affiliate or anything like that, Chris Cooper's books. These really helped me a ton. Two Brain Business, Chris Cooper, Gym Owner's Handbook, Two Brain Business 2.0, Help First. Like you really can't miss with Chris Cooper and his books, because all these books behind me, I'm sure Chris Cooper is really familiar with, but he's positioned these books in a way that take a lot of this information, a lot of the basic foundational information, but then apply it to an affiliate owner context. So you don't have to read something abstractly and figure out like, hey, how does this apply into my affiliate? You could read one of Chris Cooper's books and then be able to not only apply it right away, but kind of take some of this information from some of these other books and distill it down as exactly how it fits into the affiliate. So, okay. Oh, recommend a book for pure entertainment. My version of entertainment might be different, but Two Brain Business Books is for sure where you want to go. If you guys want something for entertainment, go top shelf for this bad boy. 48 Laws of Power. I read from this the last 2 times, but this, I mean, it's dense as fuck. So, and I mean, it's not for the lighthearted, right? It's got that small font, no pictures and shit. But this is like the dark side of self-help. I'm pretty sure this book is like illegal in prison too. But yeah, this is great. Robert Greene is a fantastic author, and I would consider it. That book has never been opened, not one time. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. 2 hours, 15 minutes. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you guys interacting. I also appreciate you bearing with me through the weekend. You guys could tell the difference between if I talk about things that I'm interested in and I know versus like trying to host a competition thing. Not exactly my strongest suit, but we made it happen. So thank you guys. Thank you for staying with us. Sevan will be back tomorrow with the Tyson Bagent show, I do believe. So thank you guys. Thank you to all the sponsors once again for holding it down. CA Peptides, Paper Street Coffee, BIRTHFIT, Toe Spaces, and I think Grill Your Ass Off. And of course, Paper Street Coffee. All right, guys. Bye-bye.